Hey there, welcome to today's episode. It's going to be a live unedited session. Apologies for any background noise, but we are taking a look at the latest updates from Koala Sampler. I say updates because it's plural. Over the last week or so, we've had a bunch of smaller updates, some with some bigger ticket items that we're going to be covering today, and some are just kind of performance, bug fixes, things like that. To make sure that we're all on the same page, let's go to our little drop-down menu, go to settings, and what we'll do is take a look here. Now, you need to be on the extras tab. You might have to scroll to find it, but version is 1.4120 at the time of making this video. Close that out, just so you know you're up to date. And what we can do is we can now change pad color. That's the first thing we're going to start with. Pretty cool, good for organizing your samples. You want all your kick drums to be red and your snares to be orange or whatever it is. Visually, it's quite a nice thing. I've always wanted full custom colors for Koala Sampler so that I could essentially do away with Koala's branding colors. Now, maybe that's why they won't put that forward. Maybe it's a pain to implement. Maybe they just don't want to, but I'd really love to see that. So when I create a custom skin, I want these red pads to be gray or black or something to fit in with my skin. I would love to see that, so I'm going to keep mentioning it, but who knows whether we'll ever see something like that. For now, we can organize our samples and we can change pad color, so it's something. Let's start with a sample. Any sample, doesn't matter. Let's take this one, drop it in. Want to make a couple of copies of that. To change your pad color, you select whatever pad, go to Edit, go to the Tools tab, and here you'll see labeling, which you've always been able to do, or certainly for a good while. And underneath, you can now change the color to go along with that. So you can label and color, which is, again, good for organization. You've got these colors to choose from here. Koala, you've got TOL, whatever that is. You've got Wong and IBM. So a bunch of different colors you can pick. Of course, whenever you select a color, it changes the pad to that color. The other thing I want to point out is that you can do that to multiple pads by doing Edit and selecting. And of course, you can do this edit, this kind of hold, edit, and select for multiple different tasks. But if you select a bunch of pads together and then you want to change the color to orange, you can do that. Really nice. The next big thing is the sample packs. So we're going to take a look at those. We're going to open this up, move all the way back to our main browser page. Get more samples has been added. You'll notice this if you've updated. There's this little planet icon. Takes us to the Koalaverse, a new place for buying sample packs. Now, I'm not affiliated with Koala Sampler in any way. I bought all of these 3 sample packs with my own money this morning. They are really cheap. I've already seen some negativity in the forums, in the comments saying, well, it's a way for you to spend money and do things. Well, yeah, why not? Every other platform does it. The MPC, for example, has expansions. All of these companies have these kind of things. And this is still Koala Sampler. It's essentially a one-man band putting this thing together. An MPC expansion is maybe 30, 40 quid. These are 3 quid. Don't be so stingy. Put your hands in your pocket and support the developer. I bought them for the demo. I'm not really too fussed on having other samples at the moment. I've already got a library full of samples, but the toys are really cool. And just to support the developer, you put your money in there and you get this thing bought. That's my advice to you. Go out and do it. Don't be stingy. We've got them here. To install them, you just click on whichever one you want. It's going to take you to the App Store, the Android, whatever it is. You can pay for it there. And it's an automatic download and install. You click one button and it's already done. Close this out. It then puts them into these packs. So this packs folder, Analog Astronaut, Soon Come Dub, and Cirrus Cuts, if I'm pronouncing that right. Cirrus, I'm assuming that's what it is. Let's take a look at those. Let's open them up. They are sample packs, so they are what you expect. There's a bunch of folders with samples organized, all nice and neat. You've got, bass, cymbals, drums, effects. We're not running through all of those here. In another video, I might deep dive into some of these, maybe make a beat using some of the samples. Just know that that's what you're getting. At the top's kind of interesting because you've got these kits now. You get 4 kits that you can choose with the drop-down menu. You can choose different ones. And it's like the MPC, those kind of expansions. You're loading up an entire drum kit, which will have multiple different samples that you can put here. One thing I'm kind of curious, which I haven't looked into yet, is whether users can now do this, because I'd really like to know. Maybe before the end of the video, if I remember, we can take a quick look and see. But it would be great to know if we could make our own kits and then have those saved and load them up inside a Koala. I mean, essentially, you can do the same thing, just organizing your samples and loading a Koala project. But this is specifically looks like some kind of way to load kits. Maybe users can do that. Let's move out. All of the sample folders underneath, The things I'm really interested in are the sound design toys, and they describe them as toys. The first one for this analog astronaut is something called Valis. Let's click on that. And to my sort of knowledge, this is a note generator, like a single note generator. It's like a synth, if you will. But if we press it, you'll hear just generate a single note. It doesn't change as much as you got this funny little user interface that's kind of doing some kind of animation. It doesn't matter if you drag your finger or move it around. That's what I assumed was going to happen. You were going to kind of change parameters as you do that. But it doesn't, just generates a note. Nothing wrong with that. You'll see, number 1. Watch what happens when we randomize this. Look at the number. So this seems like a pretty infinite amount of notes that are going to be generated here. You get the idea, just to run through a few. But yeah, a lot of sound design possibilities. Now, in terms of how you use these, the best way for me is to have it in kind of half menu. So I would drop this down like this so I can see the pads and I can see this at the same time. You need to ensure resampling is enabled. If you're not sure how to do that, let's quickly do it anyway. Just go here, make sure the edit window is closed. Where you choose your input, you can choose your mic source and other things. Make sure resampling is set to main. Go back in here. We'll load this up again. And then what we can do is we can use resampling to record whatever note. So we'll just go with this one. Choose a pad, arm it to record. Let it play for the note. Stop the recording. We'll drop this down so it's easier for you guys to see. Go to edit. You can see it's taking away the dead space because Koala Sampler is smart like that. We could then be neat if we wanted to. We could crop it, could normalize it. Might be a little loud. Let's turn it down a bit. But we've now got that sample laid out onto the pad. And the cool thing with that is that we could run it through some effects. So if we go to perform, I set up a tape delay just for the purposes of this demonstration. That is on our bus A. If we go to here and we change the mix, we can send it to bus A. So we're sending it through that tape delay effect. And the other thing that we could do is we could take a look at the sample. We could put this into one-shot mode, and then we could go to sequence and use our piano to select that sample. Now, there's multiple different modes for playing around kind of chromatically and to scale, but just with a basic keyboard here, I can now take that one sample and I can play it across the keyboard, and it's kind of like an instrument, really. Of course, all of that can be resampled, recorded, and you can slice that up and do more interesting things with it. So really, one small little note generator becomes like a world of sound design possibilities. I really like that, especially with all of the effects that we've got. One thing that I meant to turn off there was my notifications. Let me just get rid of that for a second. So let's take a look at the other options that you've got. We'll go back into samples, move back. Let's put this into big screen. Soon Come Dub is the next one. Again, some pre-made kits that you can choose from where all the samples are laid out for you. Bunch of folders full of samples. But again, the most interesting part for me is the toy, and it comes with this one called Dub Siren. We'll click on this one. You'll hear it. It's exactly what it suggests. It's a dub siren, which is pretty cool. If we go back down to half screen, we can do exactly the same thing. Now, we can play around with pitch. You got a mode. Different styles, different sounds. You got depth. Some speed. And there's some delay, and then there's a re-triggering option. So there's a few ways to kind of tweak it and mess around. It's only a fun little thing. But again, that can be recorded directly into your Koala project. Just like that. Give it a chance to finish the tail, and then we'll stop it. And again, we've got a sample that we can play around with. We could chop it up. We could do other things with it. Finally, let's take a look at the last one, because it's mainly the toys I'm interested in. This Cirrus Cuts, we'll open this up. Pre-made kits, bunch of samples in sample folders, and then you've got this one at the bottom called Holly. This is really fun. It's a voice generator. Now, you'll see it randomizes the text each time you open it up, and if you press the play button,
I'm not insulting you.
You get whatever is written here. You can press the play button and it will loop when you press it just once.
I'm just highlighting your obvious flaws. I'm not insulting you. I'm just highlighting your obvious flaws.
You see the way it kind of just loops around. You can play with the pitch.
I'm not insulting you.
Speed.
I'm just highlighting your obvious flaws. I'm not insulting
Foreman.
you. I'm just highlighting your obvious flaws.
and reverse.
Lighting
You get the idea. And you've got this like little keyboard underneath where you can kind of trigger it as well.
your obvious flaws. I'm not insulting.
Now, the coolest thing, which you might already be ahead of me, is that you can click on the text and you can tell it whatever you want it to say. I don't know if there's any kind of character limit, how much you could put into here, like an entire essay if you like, but for certainly sentences, you can do that. I'm just going to put nervous cooks, because why not? Click OK, changes on here.
Nervous cooks. Nervous cooks. Nervous cooks. Nervous cooks. Nervous cooks.
You get the idea. Drop it down, and of course, I can put that into the project as well.
If you need a...
Now, that was kind of interesting. We might have discovered one small bug as we're working on that there. It actually just randomly changed the text again, but let's do it again while it's in half mode. I'll delete that, or actually, we'll just do it on another pad. Let's change that back to nervous cooks, because that's what I wanted. Could make my own little sound tag while I'm here. And then let's do it again.
Nervous cooks.
Just save it. And now we've got that sample to play around with too.
Nervous cooks.
And I could send that to the same tape delay.
Nervous cooks.
So you can see, a lot of fun that could be had from these simple little tools. And as I say, $2.99, it's not a lot of money. Support the developer, buy them, have some fun. The final thing I just want to talk about is the export options, because that is something else that I think is pretty useful. Previously, you want to export a sample from a pad. Let's say we want to export this new note that we've just made. You can do it a bunch of different ways. I can go here and press export, and with the single individual pads, you can also do it from the tools menu where I can select export. You'll notice you can select the raw sample or the edited sample. But what you can do using the main menu now is you can select multiple samples. So let's say I wanted all of these. I can then go to my main menu and I can choose export, and selected samples is now an option. So we can choose multiple samples at the same time from our project and export those out. A really, really handy feature, because previously, as I said, you had to do that kind of manually one by one. Wasn't the end of the world, but this is really nice. I like these little small workflow improvements. It really helps speed things up. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Those are the big ticket items that I'm interested in. Let me know if there's anything else you want me to cover in the YouTube comments, anything that I might have missed. Tell me what you think about the latest update. I think anything like this, they're small things. They don't kind of bog the device down or the application down, because I do worry with Koala Sampler, the more you add, the more menus, the more stuff, it just becomes overcomplicated. But little things like this, I think, are a lot of fun. And certainly that note generator, to be able to resample that onto a pad, play it chromatically, just opens up a world of sound design options. The little text and voice engine is really fun there as well. Anyway, I'm going to sign off. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Catch you guys in the next episode. Take care.